Let's bring in Hollywood divorce attorney David Glass for more on this. David?
People going through divorces are going through some of the hardest times of their lives, and a lot of what they're going through is emotional. And in any divorce, there's a huge sense of loss, and loss of relationship, of money, some friends.
David Glass here for another episode of The Hourglass, where family law and psychology intersect. I'm a certified family law specialist, former psychologist, and the author of Moving On, Redesigning Your Emotional, Financial, and Social Life After Divorce. Let's swing the other direction for now to talk to a guest who has some great ideas about how to choose a peaceful way to deal with anger and other intense negative emotions, according to our next guest, Craig Steven Phillips. Mental fixations can be warded off through reorienting your thoughts through meditation. Craig Steven Phillips has been a spiritual teacher and practitioner for the past 44 years. With a background in Buddhism and Taoism, Mr. Phillips was ordained into Buddhism by the Dalai Lama, and he's also an interfaith minister. I, for one, can't wait to learn about his work. So welcome, Craig. Your work is exactly what I think we all need. So if you're here to demystify the art of meditation, can you start off telling us what is meditation, how do we do it, and what are the benefits?
Great to be with you, David. I think you touched on this in your introduction. When we're going through a breakup, when we're experiencing a divorce or any kind of loss that brings grief, there can be a tendency to fixate on the past, to ruminate and to go over conversations and things that have happened to us. Also, there can be a fixation on the future, on what we're going to do tomorrow, or as you said, those thoughts about how can I get back at my ex? What can I do to hurt them?
Right.
And what's overlooked in all of this is just the present moment. And to be able to bring our awareness right back here to this eternal now moment. And that's what the art of meditation does for us. It helps us to let go of this fixation on the past and the future and come right here where oftentimes we find that things are much more peaceful and much more at ease than we can imagine.
Sure. And as a therapist, I remember having a patient who came in for anxiety problems. Mm. And when I asked him, what are you getting anxious about? He says, well, I've had this girlfriend for a while, and when we go out to dinner, it seems like it should be a bigger affair, or what am I going to do for our anniversary? He was always thinking ahead and worrying about what he was going to do, yes, as opposed to just focusing on how is dinner going right now, and what did the food taste like, and what was the conversation like?
Yes, or being with your friends or your family. And I think this is one thing that people who are moving through a time of grief or change can do, is to really focus on the positive or the aspect of your life of abundance. So often when we're moving through these times, we fixate on what we don't have, our partner or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And what we overlook is the blessings that we have right now.
Right.
Part of meditation is doing that and being able to focus instead constantly on the thoughts of lack, or, as you said, getting back at someone, or how's this going to turn out? Focusing a little bit more on also the blessings that we have right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so if someone were interested in getting into meditation, what's the easiest point of entry for them?
The easiest point of entry is just to begin to practice. As you said at the beginning, my teaching is about demystifying this practice. Mm-hmm. It's really not difficult to do. I meet a lot of people who have meditated and they say, well, it's so difficult. Because when I sit down, what I encounter is my busy mind. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult to settle. But if we just relax and think of meditation as a time of resting, a time of coming to ourselves, of just letting go for a moment, not for 30 minutes, not for an hour, just for this moment, mm-hmm, and come home to our breath, we can begin to see, and research has shown this for decades, that just coming to a mindful breath, of being present with your breathing, can bring a sense of ease and an alleviation of anxiety and stress. One mindful breath can do that. Mm-hmm. And so I know that we'll be doing a little bit of practice today, which I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. And I think people will find that it's much easier than they can imagine.
That's great.
Yes.
And so let's jump right into the practice part. If I'm new to it,
Yes.
and I want to get into meditation,
Yes.
and I'm there for the very first time, what's that going to look like for me?
So the first thing is just to relax. You know, I always tell people that are new to meditation, the key when you sit is to let go of any sense of efforting that you may have toward meditation. There's no doubt that everybody has heard of meditation. We all have concepts and ideas about what that looks like. Perhaps it's a yogi up on a mountain,
Right.
you know, in bliss, contemplating, you know, the universe. But actually, if we just come to meditation with an openness to discover what's there and be able to let go of any sense of efforting. And also what I find with people who have tried meditation and maybe they've had a difficulty with it, there's a sense of struggling to get someplace special.
Yeah.
And so everyone that's listening today, if they're moving through challenging times and they hear about meditation, there can be that feeling, well, if I meditate, I'll feel better, or I'll get someplace that's outside of where I am now. It's
Yeah.
just the opposite. It's about being here now and relaxing into the openness of just being. We're always doing, right? We're human doings now. If we just allow ourselves to be and open to our breath, everything can settle down and we can relax. So if you come to meditation for the first time, what I'm interested in is introducing you to it in a way that you can take with you and that you enjoy. You know, so many people I meet, the meditation that they've done in the past, it's not enjoyable.
Right.
They're either having to sit in a particular posture, they're tense, they're trying to shut off their mind. Good luck.
Right.
You know, it's not about getting rid of your mind or the busyness that's going on there. It's about relaxing a little deeper and letting the mind be for a few moments, relaxing into your being so that you can rest.
Wow, that's a great description of it. And in just a few sentences, you already blew out some of my misconceptions about meditation.
Yes.
You know, when I come out of a particularly tough divorce trial or hearing in court, my thing is to get in the car, put the top down, and put on my favorite music as loud as I can go, and just drive and sing. As much as I can. And my hope is in the half an hour it's going to take me to get home, I've left that other stuff behind.
Yes.
Where does that sort of pedestrian practice fall in with what you're teaching people about meditation?
David, I tell people that whatever you focus on one-pointedly, so for you it's music, that is meditation.
Yeah.
You'll notice when you sing probably that you're right there with your driving, you're letting go, and you're present to your singing. That is meditation.
Right.
This is why you can go into nature. If you walk mindfully through nature on the beach and you're really there, not ruminating and thinking over and over about what just happened, but really focused on what you're doing, that is meditation. A bite of delicious food when you're really with it, meditation.
Wow.
Going to sleep and really enjoying drifting off, meditation. Conversing with a friend and listening deeply instead of thinking about what you want to say next.
Right.
Meditation. Meditation is not just about the time that you sit formally, whatever that looks like for you. That is meditation, and I encourage my students to do that daily if they can. Meditation, the bigger practice of meditation is what I'm describing. It's when you move mindfulness, being present to your life now, into every aspect of your life. Because when we are truly present here, we tend to act more skillfully. We tend not to say things that we regret. We tend to be more kind and compassionate to people when we really show up in the moment.
Is there anything else you want to share with us about how people can use meditation in their everyday lives, but especially with getting through a divorce?
I know that in contemplating this subject this week, you know, I've been through this. So many of us have been through that kind of grief, of loss. And so what I really want to emphasize to people today, number one, if they hear one thing, besides when we meditate, taking that technique, have compassion on yourself. You know, we can be surrounded with people that are telling us that we should be acting a certain way or feeling something or doing something. The reality is, as you move through a time of grief or letting go, having compassion on yourself will alleviate so much of these thoughts that, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't be doing that, when in fact you are feeling that way or doing that. And just let me say that for years it took me so long to come to an experience for me of what compassion is. Mm-hmm. It eluded me for so long. I thought it was maybe feeling sorry for myself or others, having empathy. But what I've come to after all these years is that compassion for me is just knowing that I am doing the best that I can at this moment, given my circumstances. Mm-hmm. And what I have found is that is true of everybody that's watching today. It's true of everybody you meet. We are doing the best that we can. Mm-hmm. And if we remember that, we can go easy on ourselves.
Sure.
Lighten up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say too that, you know, the feelings of overwhelm, and you know this as a former therapist, David, if the feelings of overwhelm go on, if you have a hard time getting out of bed or being motivated, then I encourage people to seek out professional help. Mm-hmm. You know, don't let yourself get buried in that. A lot of what we move through, of course, is natural in grief, but there can be those times we need to use our discernment to know when we're overwhelmed and get professional help. Seek out a therapist, seek out clergy, a spiritual counselor, and speak to them about that.
Right.
Yeah. And if it's okay, David, I don't know if we have time, could we lead a little meditation?
Absolutely.
I would really love that, you know, to give people the tools that and in contemplating the program today, usually what I teach people is just basic mindfulness, as I've been talking about. Come to the breath, come to the presence, and be here.
Great.
So let's do that.
All right.
So I invite everybody that's watching to just close your eyes for a moment. And it's really amazing that even closing the eyes tends to bring us to a state of ease and relaxation. And when you come to meditation, I always say, get a sense of meditation as a time of rest. And feel that rest in your body for a moment. Just let your body be very, very still for just this moment. And notice that as you rest in the body, that the breath is happening. And let your awareness gently come to the breath for a moment. You don't need to manipulate it. Just feel it move through your nose and into your body. As you breathe out, get a sense of letting go. Let go of everything that is not right now. Everything that you've been carrying, any rocks or burdens on your shoulders. And I just invite everyone to direct attention now to the middle of your chest, right to your heart. And as you breathe in, get a sense that your in-breath is infused with a great sense of loving kindness for yourself. And breathe loving kindness through your chest and into your heart for you. You might even repeat loving kindness to yourself as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, just get a sense of that loving kindness flowing from your heart through the field of your being for you. And as we draw another breath now, let's feel that our breath is also infused with a great sense of compassion for ourselves. And breathe compassion into your heart for you. And as I said before, compassion for me is just this knowing that I'm doing the best that I can at this moment, given the circumstances of my life. Feel that compassion on your out-breath flowing from your heart through the field of your being. And finally, I invite everyone to bring someone or something that you're very, very grateful for in your life at this moment into your heart. Take the first person or thing that comes to you and feel them in your heart or that thing. And as you draw another breath, feel that your breath is also infused with a great sense of gratitude for this person or thing in your life, and breathe that gratitude into your heart. As you breathe out, feel that gratitude flowing through the field of your being for you. And now just very gently feeling our heart is overflowing with loving kindness, compassion, and gratitude. Very gently let the breath bring you back to the present moment, carrying this energy with you into your day as you gently open your eyes. So in just a few minutes, as we did there, we can completely alter. And what research has shown, David, without a doubt, is that what we did there is scientifically proven. We've changed our brain chemistry. Dopamine has been released. A sense of ease and calm comes over us, and it feels good.
Amazing. Amazing work. So with what we just engaged in a little piece of meditation, how can our viewers bring that into their life? What's the daily schedule, if there is one?
That's a wonderful question, David. And what I always encourage people to do is, if you have the time, set aside a little space where you can sit formally. You can do the practice that we just did, particularly if you're going. So I always tell my students, don't let an hour or two go by where you haven't come back to your breathing. Just a few mindful breaths will bring you back to the present moment. And if you need to, breathe some gratitude and loving kindness for your heart if you're feeling overwhelmed. Do that practice throughout the day. You know, don't let a whole day go by where you've done meditation, but now you've just been in your head all day spinning. And then you come back and you feel exhausted, like, what happened? Where am I? Practice a little bit, and you'd be surprised what even 3 mindful breaths can do. One of my great teachers that I have to mention who passed this year is a very well-known Zen master named Thich Nhat Hanh. He used to say that with just one mindful breath, we come home to ourselves in the present moment. We come home to the kingdom of God right now. Right here. And that's where the true fruit of meditation begins.
Great advice across the board. Thank you so much for being with us today.